Director Richard Quine was assigned to direct Pushover because the studio believed that, having been an actor himself, he'd be sensitive to the pressure facing Kim Novak in her movie debut. Quine was 34 when he directed this picture, with a number of films, mostly comedies, already under his belt. In younger days, he'd been a dancing and goofing sidekick to his pal Mickey Rooney. And before making Pushover, he'd guided Rooney through his finest dramatic performance to date, in Drive a Crooked Road. These were Quine's only two forays into film noir, although his personal life had more than its share of darkness. In 1943, Quine had married Susan Peters, one of the most promising young actresses in Hollywood. On a New Year's Day hunting trip in 1945, Peters' rifle accidentally discharged, the bullet shattering her spine and leaving her paralyzed below the waist. Despite the couple's gallant efforts to overcome this tragedy, Peters even starred, confined to a wheelchair, in the noir drama A Sign of the Ram. Their marriage fell apart. After they divorced in 1948, Peters steadily deteriorated, essentially starving herself to death in 1952. Although Quine would be haunted by Peters' tragic fate, he carved out a reputation for making lively comedies, many in collaboration with writer Blake Edwards. He reunited with Kim Novak in 1958 for the big hit Bell, Book and Candle, and it was during its production the director and actress began a love affair, despite Quine still being married to his second wife, Barbara Bushman. By the time Quine and Novak made their third picture together, 1960's Strangers When We Meet, the director's best film in my opinion, he'd divorced Bushman and become engaged to Novak. Columbia Pictures made a wedding present of the fabulous experimental house in Malibu it had built for Strangers When We Meet. But Novak, always fighting to be her own person, felt unduly pressured and backed out. She and Quine would make another picture together, The Notorious Landlady, in 1962, but their relationship was over. He'd have romances with other actresses he directed, notably Judy Holliday, Natalie Wood, and Fran Jeffries, to whom he was married for 5 years. He seemed to finally settle down with his fourth wife, Diana Balfour, to whom he was married for 12 years. But in 1989, Quine committed suicide in their Beverly Hills home, shooting himself with a hunting rifle in a manner eerily like the incident that paralyzed Susan Peters. Next week, I'll have for you an interesting B film with the blunt title, Violence. Being a film from 1947, be assured it will not actually live up to its name, but it features an intriguing premise and is made by much of the creative team responsible for the astoundingly weird Decoy, which was a popular entry on Noir Alley last year. Tune in, if you dare. Until then, see you in the shadows.